may just leave that image with you for a bit. But you guys thought I was done with dragons, but I ain't done yet, because I'm moving on to one of my favourite franchises, DragonHeart. There's currently 5 of these movies, but let's just start off with the first one, shall we? I just want to say as well, I'm still recovering from COVID, so my voice isn't the best at the moment. So, DragonHeart. I don't quite remember watching this movie as a kid, so I ended up watching this movie for what I think it was anyway my first time, a couple of years ago. And I thought it was going to be like Dragon's Dogma, which in short is a dragon steals your heart and you gotta go get it back. That sounds pretty metal, right? But that's not at all what this movie is. DragonHeart came out in 1996 and had a troubled development with the original writer wanting something a bit more darker, but then the studios wanted something more kid-friendly. And that does show in the final product, with it being a bit of a mess. Is it a kids movie or is it a dark fantasy film? It's a mix of both, creating a movie that got mixed reviews but is fondly remembered. And I, for one, spoiler alert, I love this movie. I love it. I absolutely recommend this movie for dragon lovers out there that want a fun dragon flick with a talking dragon. I will be spoiling this movie, so if you haven't seen it, go watch it, then come back to my review. Please? Pretty please? Thank you. Also like and subscribe and comment and all that kind of stuff, please. Interact with my video, please. Thank you. Alright, let's get into it, shall we? It stars Dennis Quaid as Bowen, who is training the young Prince Aiden in the ways of the old code while showing his skills as a fighter. Aiden has a ruthless king of a father that is dealing with a peasant rebellion. Also popping up here is Brian Thompson, who I know as the alien bounty hunter from X-Files. So, I don't know, there's that. The king is killed and Aiden goes down to help, right? No, of course not. He just wants the crown. Really showing like he already has like a dark side to him. But in the process is accidentally stabbed and is slowly dying. The mum, however, knows a way to help. The dragon. So they take him to this cave and you expect this booming dragon voice, right? It's just Sean Connery.
Aislinn, daughter of the Celts. The king's son. Cruel and full of trickery.
Now I'm not saying that's a bad thing at all, but it's just Sean Connery. That's it. He mentions the boy's dad was like a dragon slayer, and well, just like a very bad king. And so he makes the kid swear that he will not turn out like his dad and work with the dragon. And then we get the scene that makes you go, oh, that's why it's called DragonHeart. The dragon named Draco takes a piece of his heart and shares it with Aiden, giving him life. And it's just such a surreal scene with the sound of the beating heart that is very iconic to me, along with the beautiful theme music. It just makes it a scene that I can't keep my eyes off, even if the sudden fire beam is a little jarring. Bowen is faithful to the dragon and swears his loyalty to him for saving the boy. But right away, Aiden is using the peasants to build him his castle and make it bigger and grander than ever, even threatening to burn someone's eyes out for one. But Bowen stops him and believes the dragon bewitched him, turning him evil, and so declares he will hunt the dragon down. So that's the opening, and so far I'm kind of just like, this looks dated and the effects are a little questionable, but that whole DragonHeart scene was really cool. So what else has got to happen? 12 years pass and is now a dragon hunter and hunts down a dragon at the start with his brother Gilbert character showing up, and it's all kind of meant to be comedic. I wasn't really sure what to think before the first time. It was just odd.
Get back your horse, you coward.
The tone of this movie is just odd. Turns out he's also been doing it for the money by bargaining with Jason Isaacs, aka Lucius Malfoy. And speaking of Harry Potter, we then see Aiden all grown up and is now a ruthless king, and played by David Lupin from Harry Potter, with one of the worst hairstyle wig things I've ever seen. I cannot take him seriously ever with that hairstyle. It just looks so stupid. I just can't. So he's still making the peasants work, one of which is the one he wanted to blind, but he was stopped. But turns out he did blind him in the end, showing like that dark side of this movie. The girl that accidentally almost killed him is now all grown up and is the blind man's daughter. She begs for him to let him go, but he just kills him, saying, in a way, it was letting him go. So again, showing how ruthless he is and the dark side of this movie, which I think is partly why I was just like, who is this movie for? Back at Bowen, he is hunting another dragon, with Brother Gilbert there too, wanting to create a ballad of Bowen, basically.
Into the mouth of death he strode, into the cringy gloom, into the pit of fear unknown. That was good. What did I say?
He ends up sitting on top of a dragon that's hiding himself as a wok, because that's apparently a power that dragons have, apparently. So then he reveals himself, and we get banter between the two, with Bowen showing how different he is now, that he gets pleasure out of killing dragons. He's really lost the whole the Knight of the Old Code thing that he was.
Well, since you seek a prophet, we might as well begin.
It's not the prophet. It's the pleasure.
Of course, this dragon is Draco, and he finally shows himself in full as he flies out of a waterfall, and then Bowen is suddenly outside on his horse, and it follows him down. But it's just no, seriously, how the hell did he get there? Why is he suddenly outside? Here, I'm just kind of like, oh, these effects do not hold up at all. But now things get comedic as he fires a woke thing, which again, the effects is not amazing, which we never also see him use this again, or clearly he knows how to make things, kind of thing, he made this thing, I assume. But again, none of that ever comes back into it or anything, but whatever, doesn't matter. It goes around the dragon's foot and he clings to the rope and goes flying on it in comedic fashion, even getting one-liners for Draco.
Come, visit the woods! Oh, pity. That must have hurt. How do you like the ride so far?
Eventually the two battle out while Bowen learns that he is the last of the dragons, but Draco isn't really taking things too seriously as well, which you do understand later. Also, he shoots snotty fireballs. Interesting take on dragons and fire breath, I guess. At this point I'm watching this this is just kind of weird. Is this meant to be a comedy or a dark action fantasy movie? Up to this point, I'm just confused. I'm not hating it, but we are half hour into this movie and I don't know the direction it's going. And all I see is kind of just lame effects that have not hold up well, meh acting and meh settings. The one good thing is the music theme. But, this is where the entire movie changes, and I realize what this movie is. It's a buddy movie with the odd couple, a dragon and a human teaming up.
When there are no more dragons to slay, how will you make a living, knight?
Shut up!
So they're fighting, and the dragon comes down to eat Bowen, but he stabs up into his mouth, and now he's stuck there. And this is hilarious.
If your sword goes up, my teeth come down!
Into the moonlit night, the Titan's due.
And just so out of nowhere, the whole movie for me took a left turn at this scene, because it's not only just funny.
Thank you very much. It's been stuck down there for months. Can you get your buttocks off my tongue?
But he's stuck in a dragon maw, bouncing on his tongue. Come on, you can't be a furry and not like this scene. Especially for the macros and micros and for the more and more lovers out there.
Oh, my mouth is so dry.
No!
Sorry about that.
Yeah, I partially love this scene because I am that kind of weirdo, but it's also because it was just so unexpected, as these two are just basically waiting out to who will give up first. This was the moment I'm like, okay, this is a silly movie, and I'm going to enjoy myself. It's just so good. This is what I wanted, a fun dragon film. This is essentially what Hiccup and Toothless would be like if Toothless could talk. Again, in short, this is exactly what I wanted out of this kind of film with a dragon that could talk. I want this kind of buddy movie, and that's exactly what this ended up being. In the end, Bowen falls out and gets stomped down to keep him still. Meh. Draco tells him he never wanted to kill him, and the fact that Bowen will be out of a job if he kills Draco, well, he has an alternative to their situation. And so they start a swindling business. It's just such a hilarious direction this movie goes, with Draco flying over the village and scares the citizens, but being sure not to hurt them.
Out of the way! Out of the way! Out of the way!
And then Bowen shows up, and so does Jason Isaac's crotch, so there's that. You're welcome. And he says he will help get rid of the dragon. For some gold, of course. So next, he shoots down the wicked dragon.
Oh!
This is just so hilarious. This is so great. Bowen winds off with his gold while Draco swims upstream and finds some sheepy food. This is just so genius. The idea of this buddy movie of a dragon and a human working together to swindle a town, it's just gold to me. It is absolutely not the direction I expected, but it's just so damn great. Unfortunately, it's not the entirety of the movie, like I wish it was, because yeah, this movie is a weird mix of a kid movie and a dark fantasy film, as you do go back and forth between Aiden and now the girl named Kawa tries to assassinate him, and then is later shown to maybe a bit sexually assaulted. In the original script, she was. As I said, it was going to be a darker film, and so it still retains elements of that. Like later, the mum ends up helping out the main heroes to kill her own son, but Aiden realizes her plan and so kills his own mum. It's enough for it to be kid-friendly, but still oh, that just happened. But now what I realize about this film is just how much heart is put into this, with the human and dragon slowly bonding, with little moments of Draco mentioning he's not scared of death, but does fear it. And that little scene is just really nice.
Aside from your misery, what's to lose?
My soul.
And we learn later why, and this is just a nice little somber little scene between the two. There's a little funny scene later of Bowen trying to make a fire and Draco helps him out.
Sorry, Bowen. I hope you like it well done.
It's those little moments I really love about the film, and have been just wanting. Come on, have a dragon and a human bond like this. It's quirky, but just a lot of fun to watch. I talk about Bowen's trust with dragons and says he has been trying to hunt down the one that turned Aiden evil. Somehow not recognizing Sean Connery's voice, though Draco always does give it away who he is.
Aiden was no innocent. He polluted the heart.
How do you know that?
All dragons know that story.
But he also does mention Aiden was always evil. He was it was a lost cause pretty much, and the dragon did nothing to add to it. They do argue here, and it does escalate, but then Draco is suddenly in pain as Aiden is stabbed by the girl, showing how the two are connected. After this, we do get a nice little scene of Bowen finally giving him a name, which he does have, but it's in dragon tongue, so he can call him something in human tongue now. He shows him the Draco constellation, and the dragon knows very well what it is, and yeah, gave him a name, Draco, which legit just means dragon, so he's just calling him Dragon.
They call it Draco. It means dragon in the scholar speech.
So instead of calling me dragon in your tongue, you'll call me dragon in some other tongue.
Also, the Draco constellation is a real constellation, and I was born under it according to one website, so woo! That actually made me kind of happy, to be honest. Again, these moments, along with the music theme, is what I love about DragonHeart. They're just such nice little scenes with a lot of heart, and I'm a sucker for that kind of stuff.
You're right. It's silly.
No, I would be honored to be named after those stars. I truly would.
Next, they pretend to attack another town, but Kara is there this time, and instead of giving up their gold, the town decides to sacrifice her to the dragon. Bowen wants Draco to get rid of her, but he doesn't want to eat her because apparently he doesn't like humans.
Eat her!
Oh, please, yeah.
Aren't we squeamish? You ate Sir Eglamour, hypocrite.
I merely chewed in self-defense, but I never swallowed.
So we know he's a spitter then. Yup. He does grab her, but instead of killing her, just sings to her. It's so dumb, but again, I love it.
You have a beautiful voice.
Oh, thank you. We dragons love to sing when we're happy.
Aiden does show himself here and fights with Bowen, and now he understands that Aiden is simply evil, and it wasn't because of the dragon. Draco does save his life here as well, and scares off Aiden by showing him his heart. Kinda neat, kinda trippy, weird little scene, I guess. But then right away, they're back to tricking a village. Kara tried to tell them he is a liar, but then Brother Gilbert just randomly shows up again. He was kind of just missing for a while there, but he's back and managed to convince the town, no, he has killed a dragon before. And so they do try and kill Draco, but it fails.
What a brute! That's even bigger than the last one!
Actually, he's about the same size.
The peasants go after him wanting meat. Draco managing to fly off and suddenly the peasants turn to the others wanting their meat. Which is a mistake here that like people working on the film pointed out to the director, but it's like, no, it'll be fine. It's the fact that like these guys are apparently so hungry that they'll go after humans to eat, even though their town is full of pigs. So they have plenty of food, but apparently they don't have enough food. Yeah, it never crossed my mind. It never crossed my mind at all. It's not something I would have thought about really. Until I did until I did actually read up about this little scene. And it's like, oh, you white. Anyway, Draco saves the day and then flies off. The poor horse, his just legs just freaking dangling everywhere. They end up at King Arthur's castle, because why not, I guess. Here, Brother Gilbert just accepts what's happened and never questions it. And also Draco finally reveals everything. That long ago, the wisest dragons took pity on humans. One of which then gathered all the other dragons and made them swore to watch over man. Once he passed away, the night sky lit up and became the Draco constellation, which is essentially dragon heaven. But the dragons have to earn their spot in heaven, or else their spirit just disappears. Which is why Draco fears death. He doesn't just want to disappear. And that's also why he shared his heart with the dying boy, so he could reunite dragons and man, but what he did became a sin, basically saving someone so evil. And so now, yeah, he fears death, but he also wants to try and redeem himself by helping the humans defeat him now. So Draco goes to Kara to lead this rebellion, while Bowen just kind of gives up after learning who Draco is, but he doesn't really want to kill him now or anything. They're friends. They're friends now. He just kind of accepts what happened, basically now. He understands that Aiden was always evil. Later he hears voices and sees an image of King Arthur, I guess, and then goes through the old code with him. And yeah, this part is just weird and wasn't needed. It's a bit too mystical, but whatever, there's talking dragons in this movie, so logic is kind of thrown out. Draco is still here, and then cool and cute little moment as he puts his wings over him in the rain as they stand there looking all cool. Again, these kind of moments just kind of get to me. So now they convince the town to help with his rebellion, teaching him how to shoot bows and everything, along with Brother Gilbert, who turns out is a natural.
Beginner's luck. Try again.
Blah blah blah, a bunch of stuff happens. So Mother ends up getting Dragon Slayers to come help.
A mother's gift to her son. Dragon Slayers.
Let's hunt that dragon!
And the peasants and the knights fight it out, so we get a big battle scene, kinda sorta. Draco dealing with the Dragon Slayers in his own ways. While Gilbert gets a few comical moments.
Turn the other cheek, brother.
And then he takes out Aiden. But we see he's immortal thanks to the dragon's heart. So he runs back to stop the Slayers from killing Draco and takes him captive. So now they sneak in to save Draco. Blah blah blah, the mom is killed here, and then he fights off with Bowen, and Bowen wins and looks as though he killed Aiden. But Draco demands for Bowen to kill him. That's the only way to truly kill Aiden, but Bowen doesn't want to kill his friend.
You are my friend.
Ben is my friend. Strike, please!
I can't.
So, going from a Dragon Slayer himself to a friend of Dragons. And it is emotional. It only gets more emotional as Aiden appears and charges at Bowen. Bowen does end up throwing an axe into Draco's heart in a intense, sad moment, and they both die. But because of his noble sacrifice, Draco's soul goes into heaven with all the souls of the dragons, meeting him there, and it's just such a sad moment that gets me every time. Again, that theme music playing as well, like, it just works so well to make an emotional scene. I do wish there was a little more of Draco understanding that it's hard for Bowen. He just expects him to kill him, just like that. And I do wish there was just a little bit more of Draco understanding it's hard for him now. But whatever, it's an emotional scene that is affected to me.
Without you, where do we turn? To the stars, Bowen. To the stars.
So that's the movie, and it is a weird one. Like, it took me a while to get into it the first time I watched it, as I just didn't know what it was, and clearly the filmmakers didn't know either. So you get dark moments like implied sexual assault, but then you get childish moments of him being dragged by a rope into trees. It's a very oddly toned movie. But everything with Draco and Bowen, I can't help but love. I love their friendship, I love the scheme they decide to do. That's just genius and hilarious to me. And all these like silly little moments I have, but then also them just talking in those nice little moments, I can't help but enjoy. This is a very odd movie, but it's one of my favourites because of all these different little things. And that theme music I keep mentioning, I really do love it. It just brings so much emotion to me and adds so much to these scenes. And it's just another reason of why I love DragonHeart. This movie does have heart in it, even if it's not what the filmmakers intended originally. I think it worked out. Like, it is a bit of an oddly mixed movie, with it being like, yeah, partly dark fantasy, partly kids movie. But I think that's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing to have dark little moments like that in a kids movie. So for me, this movie to me is a 9 out of 10 foxes. Keyword there, to me. I understand why some people like air with this film, but I also don't care because I love it. Like, it's not the perfect movie. It's not a perfect movie. Like, a lot of the effects are outdated. There's several little problems here and there that they could have done maybe a little bit better. I really, really hate Aiden's wig. Like, I cannot take him seriously at all. I really, really can't. So, there's little things like that do halt this film into being perfect. But what do you guys think of DragonHeart? Let me know down in the comments, and also like this video and subscribe to my channel because I love you if you do. Hit that bell icon, and as Fox says, be who you want to be. Alright guys, bye for now.